Welcome to Richie's WLTOYS 124018 brushless conversion. I think this promises to be quite quick. Well, my fellow Driftomaniacs, good evening or good morning, depending on where you are in the world, but it's getting fairly late on at night here in Northern California. Anyway, straight down to it. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a brushless conversion on my WLTOYS 124018. Now, if you're not familiar with this car, you soon will be, or certainly with the 124019. Both of which are loosely based on the WLTOYS 144001, because the 144001 is simply the fastest car out there under $100. 40 miles an hour plus, pretty much straight out of the box. This one I've speed tested on 3S at 43 miles an hour, which bodes very, very well for the brushless conversion I'm going to be doing in this video. This is the desert buggy version of the car. There is a similar one. There is one which is similar, but the suspension is slightly different on the buggy version, one of which I do have on order, which fingers crossed will be out before Christmas. And while I mentioned this car is like the bigger brother of the 144001, here is my cannibalized 144001. Just check out how much of a difference that extra 5 centimeters makes to the car. To start with, it's a bit squirrely, and then it just hooks up and goes, and the thing is just absolutely super stable. Purely due, I'm guessing, to the extra 5 centimeters in length. So what have we got going in here today? Well, I'm fitting my trusty Dumbo 6-channel RC radio. Do not laugh. 500 meter range, 6-channel receiver with built-in gyro, yours for $30, including delivery. Guess some of you stop laughing now. I'm going to be fitting a Castle Creations 5700 kV brushless motor with a Mamba X ESC, which will easily fit inside the car with a model I'll show you later on in this video. A new motor mounting bracket. Now you may wonder, what, Rich, why don't you use the existing one? Well, it is now impossible to remove the existing motor from this without causing severe damage to the motor mounting bracket due to the thread lock used, etc. on it. So I put 2 of these on order before I even got the car coming through, and thankfully they've arrived the same week as the car's arrived. So I'm not even going to bother undoing the motor from the bracket. I'm simply going to remove the bracket and the motor from the car, fit my Castle ESC to my new bracket. Now, I mentioned the radio. Now you might be thinking, well, Rich, why don't you use the same radio? Well, this has got a combined ESC and receiver in here, but unfortunately it's got a 5-wire servo as opposed to a 3-wire servo. So if you fit a brushless setup, you're going to fit a separate ESC, separate receiver in there, but you're going to need a 3-wire servo. So I'm also going to have to replace the servo on the car. But that's not the main reason, actually, for changing the transmitter for a speedrun purpose. This 124018 has got the most brilliant party trick going, particularly if you've got youngsters and it's their first high-speed car. When this runs out of range, this car brakes to a stop. It's got a built-in fail-safe, so when it hits like about 120 meters away, the thing just pulls up dead in a straight line. But for speedrun purposes, that's the last thing you want, because I don't want the range limited. I want the thing to be flying off into the distance. Well, not literally, but you know what I mean. You don't want the range, you want the range limited by your trigger finger, not artificially by the radio. And you will note, people, I've got my RCU next Tuesday beanie on in support of my fellow Brits back over there who are experiencing weather considerably colder than me in Northern California, because it's actually quite warm in my garage with this on. Well, do we think I built a monster? Oh, quite possibly, Richie boy. And I will also probably be fitting a set of Fung tyres to the new 124018, as these are, whilst the stock ones are considerably higher by about 5-6 mil, these will balloon with the amount of power we're going to be putting through it today. Okay, well, the first thing to do on the brushless conversion of the 124018 is obviously to remove this body. I've done a separate video as to how to remove that body. It is nice and simple. It really doesn't need a lot of work. I've done it step by step in another video. I'll put a link to that one below this one. As you can see with the car laid out bare there, it's now nice and easy to work on. So the first thing I need to do, remove the ESC, disconnect that from the motor, remove this top bracket in order for me to be able to get access to the motor mount, which I'm then going to unscrew from underneath on here. Like I say, I'm not even going to bother trying to fight and battle when I've got a new one I can fit my brushless Castle motor to straight away. Okay, ESC removed, top plate removed, just 4 screws holding it in each end. Okay, my number one tip when taking this car apart would be to apply heat with a soldering iron to the bottom of these 2 screws holding the motor mount on there. You loosen the thread lock and then they will just come out easy as can be without stripping the screws. Now there's what appears to be a little black plastic plug in there, but you're thinking, oh, how do I remove that? Well, turn the motor over, lever it towards you, and you can remove that black plastic plug with one hand. So there we are. You've now got the WLTOYS 124018 completely ready to fit in our new electric. The new motor mount, instead of having this little plastic piece that goes in the top, it has a nicely machined aluminum top piece for extra strength, which is absolutely outstanding. These are about $15 for a pair of these 2 mounts, because I've got another one of these cars coming on there. So now, fit it onto here and get the new motor in. Okay, well, fingers crossed, everything's going fairly well so far. I've actually fitted a new gear, I would say a hardened steel one, to my new Castle motor on here. The new motor mount, I would highly advise buying one of those. For one thing, you've got this aluminum plug going in there, which is going to give added strength for keeping the bearing in when you've put the added pressure of the brushless motor in there. Anyway, time to put the ESC and the receiver in. Okay, I'm just loosely putting the ESC in place. To anybody that has got a 144001, you can now see the advantage of this car with the extended platform on here. Mamba X just drops in millimeter perfect alongside that servo. A new Savox one going in there to replace that. And what I'm thinking is put the receiver at the back here, because I did say at the start I'd give you a tip on fitting a bigger battery in here, and it's not necessarily cannibalising the battery tray. There's a 5-6mm piece of foam in here. Just simply cut it out, and then existing 2200 milliamp pack drops straight into place without any worries whatsoever, meaning I should have space in here to mount my receiver towards the back. Just the whole thing is going to have a very streamlined look indeed. You don't be fighting against stuff, fighting for space like you would do with the 144001. This is why you should buy one of these cars. Link to it below the video. Well, the build has gone fairly straightforward. It's a lot easier to work on than a 144001. That extra 5 centimeters is night and day in terms of being able to squeeze stuff in. Speaking of squeezing stuff in, it's still been reasonably close. Castle 5700 kV, Castle Mamba X ESC in here. I've got a new XT60 connector on there. Likewise, I've swapped the one on the battery for that. Got rid of the Deans. My new receiver tucked away here. Tidied the wiring up as best I can. Got a new Savox servo down here. Now I've drilled a separate set of holes in the front there, and I've got 2 cable ties actually holding it down, 2 Ziploc cable ties holding it down, but that's not going anywhere in a hurry, so we're just going to power it up. So I'm just going to power it up, test everything's working, get the body back on, let's go for a play outside. Okay, well, got the body back on. I've just had to tie the wiring slightly and move the motor and ESC wiring a bit flatter on the body, because initially I had a slight problem closing the top, but now the top closes absolutely fine, as you'll see in just a second. Well, I've got it all powered up. And in terms of scary stuff that I've built, I think this is probably up there with the top 3 cars. And just a slow start on here, just like a minor bit of throttle on here. Just check everything's going. Get the speed up a little bit more. That's about 10% throttle. That's about 30% throttle. That's nudging on 90%. I'll let that sink in for a minute. Anyway, enough locking around in the garage, Rich. I think it's time we took this thing out onto the street to test it. Just remember, guys, if you like what you see today, don't forget to subscribe. First run out with a brushless setup on a 124018, and I have to say I'm quite nervous. Oh, tell me you'll caught that on camera, Richie. I have a feeling this may be a little overpowered for the driveway. It's spinning all 4 wheels
I'm trying not to laugh. I'm trying not to laugh because it has got so much, man. Sun of it shines on the righteous, Rich. Super smooth. So, how fast does it accelerate? Oh, that's not a bad start. I think we might need to feed the power in a little bit. Suffice to say, this is probably... Oh! Power to weight ratio is probably up there with simply the fastest thing I think I have ever built. I mean, you've seen me, people. I've built some crazy stuff, but this thing takes it to a completely different level. Oh man, don't want to do that, Richie boy. Can't even give it full throttle off of it. If I give it full throttle, they say the sun always shines on the righteous, and the amount of times this thing will land the right way up in this video is just absolutely insane. Oh man, see what I mean? So I'm literally thinking this thing has probably got 90 to 100 in it, but the power to weight ratio is absolutely brutal. So anybody thinking of doing similar conversion, go for it. I'll tell you, I've driven very few RC cars that scare me. I'm giving this thing about 10% throttle. Full throttle would just be absolutely insane on this driveway. Man. Rich. Oh my God. You have created an absolute bleeping monster, man. Oh, man. I did not intend on doing the Richie wall test at that speed, because I do not want to break this before I get on a full speed run with it. In the dying light of day, I will have to say, I've built some crazy stuff in my time. Nothing comes close to the power to weight ratio of this thing. I've got a twin motor, 16S armor infraction. Really, it's quite scary. This thing scares me even more. Goodness only knows what top speed we'll get to this weekend. You don't want to miss that speed run for sure. So you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Thumbs up if you like this one, guys.
Well, thumbs up if you like this video, guys. Post any comments you might have in the comment section below the video, and hit the circle below to subscribe. And if you do hit the circle, don't forget to hit the bell.